Um, Welcome to the PARAcast. I'm your host, Tomas the Boss Hernandez, joining you in a room that's not mine, on a chair that's possibly mine. Joining me tonight, I had other intros for other people here. Joining me tonight, he's so fat when he walks into the bay, the RO says, "Looks like the squad's all here." It's Robert Wyatt.
You're not wrong, but you don't need to point it out, you bastard.
Well, my other well, that was weird. Good thing it's still going.
Oh, good.
My
Minor technical difficulties
Yeah, as
as
I
on this duct tape production.
as I tried to, you know, as I tried to move my cursor over and I clicked the hang up button instead of the reset my camera thing. The other one I had is for Kevin if he was joining us. He's here. He's here to remind you not to pee on the berm in Ace VR. It's Kevin Isaac. You can't pee on the berm. Anyways, we were discussing on the Patreon side the Max Michelle Lena Mitchell thing leaving 6 Hour, and I was just thinking this week it's just like the whole thing of like having sponsors and like chasing sponsors. Like there's some people who still want to walk around with the jersey with sponsors on, and like there's some like some help from some people that makes it kind of worth it. But I just kind of think about that kind of life nowadays, and I'm just like, I want nothing. I want nothing to do with any of that. Also, this
Yeah.
episode's brought to you by Dominate Defense. That's just a bitchin' belt, though. Like, that's just a good belt. Anyway, good product. So I've been
We're not gonna shill my dominate defense belt and my Rune Tactical followers.
good products. Good products. So I've had some ARs over the past few years. The AR that I've had kind of the most over the last long bit was I had a SIG 516. So this was their gas piston, short stroke gas piston upper. The same guy who developed the HK 416 went over to SIG, developed the 516, went over to Caracal later, developed the 816. Anyways, I had a Gen 1 four position gas piston, so it had adverse, normal, suppressed, and then off, so you could run it like a bolt action. And this was great, except for like it was heavy, and it had a proprietary carbine, like almost shorter than carbine length rail, and it was heavy. Like it still works, but like when the bolt breaks or when something goes wrong with the gas, like this gun's basically not going to be able to be replaced. And I've always kind of wanted something lighter and DI. I had a DI gun, but I gave that to the ex-wife and all that jazz. So I was sitting there and I've been talking with my friend Alex. Coco went, and I've been just ruminating on what to get. And I've been looking at like BCM rifles. Like, all right, well, like maybe there's a BCM blem that comes up. I've been checking gun.deals and all this as I'm looking at different rifles. I saw some Geisley Super Duties, and I was like, oh, what should I get? And so I'm searching around on gun.deals, and I see that LWRC International makes direct impingement guns. And I'm like, okay, well, I want a direct impingement gun, some mid-length direct impingement gun. And I start looking at it, and I'm like, okay, like this sounds like a really well-made rifle. And so there's a deal on it, and I'm like, okay, that's great. And then like the coolest thing is when like that deal's at like Sportsman's Warehouse, and you have a Sportsman's Warehouse, and then you go online and it's like in stock at the closest one, at the one closest to you. And I was like, all right,
At
sweet.
that point, they're begging you to take it.
They're-
They probably put it in your car for you.
I mean, they practically did. So they did. So I ended up getting this is a LWRC what is it? LWRC M6 IC individual carbine. This is like their discovery model. So this is their base DI rifle. And the thing that separates this from like the other DI rifle is this one has a standard kind of lower. It doesn't have an ambi lower. The other one has an ambi lower, and the other one basically has an ambi lower and ambi charging handle. Same trigger, same stock, and it has an M-lock forearm. This rifle has a couple kind of like interesting features, but essentially that it's the same rifle. And so this was like $1,000, and I'm like, this like basically it's a fantastic upper, um, and it's a mil spec lower, and it's got this tungsten gray coating on it. And so like I was like, all right, well like this sounds like as nice of a rifle for $1,000 that I can build off of in the future. And so it's just got some cool things. Like it has this one piece bolt. So I'll pop this out and kind of show you. It's I kind of like these things. So it's like proprietary but not proprietary. Like you can stick a regular bolt in this thing.
Yeah, I love this about Tommy because he does such a good job of being a pro host that he figures out how to keep that microphone with him at all times until he absolutely has to drop it. And now you can't really see it because you're
The,
listening to the audio. But
yeah, on YouTube. So it's kind of cool. So they have this coated slicked out bolt, but like the bolt, see how it has no keys, or it's not, the keys not staked into it.
oh,
It's a one
yeah.
piece bolt. So it's
How do you take it apart if
well,
you need to
you take
clean
it
it?
apart. It's just that the gas key on the top, it still has its pin
Uh-huh.
on it. It's not screwed in and staked into the main body of the bolt. So it's actually
Mm.
it's a one piece bolt. So it's like, all right,
Oh, I see, I see, I
yeah.
see.
See, like this part's completely one piece, and so it's like, all right, well that's pretty cool. Like very well made bolt, and it's all one piece, and it's fancy feast. So that's cool. Um, a couple other things that's nice on the dang thing. It's so all the high end quality stuff you would expect from LWRC. The receiver, if you can see, it has like these screw marks right here. The upper receiver goes out to about right here underneath the rail. And so it's a longer receiver, and so the rail just has these 10 screws that screw into the upper receiver, and you undo
Mm-hmm.
those, and then you pull the whole handguard off. And then you can just literally push the handguard back on. It'll center itself, and it's monoforged, so you can see there's no like gap in the pick rail, so the pick rail's
Yeah.
continuous, and it centers itself. So it's like that's fantastic. That's awesome. That like it has that little feature. You're stuck into LWRC's rails, which isn't terrible. They're lightweight. They're well made. They have M-LOK key mod and different lengths, rifle lengths or whatever. I think this is like the 11-inch or 13-inch mid length that comes on the
What is
gun.
the what has won that war? The key mod or the M-LOK?
M-LOK.
Is it
M-LOK
M-LOK that
is
won?
the M-LOK is the standard. This one is a little bit weird, and it's kind of part of the price. This is LWRC's proprietary one, so you can buy for
Mm-hmm.
$230 their M-LOK one and put it on here. But this is the one that came with it. They were so coated, and this is LWRC's kind of thing. And so I ordered, a QD mount for a sling and then a light attachment. But you can see how much material is removed from this rail. So it's like
Right.
it's very, very lightweight. And apparently, where LWC is, I forget what state they're made out of. They're made in, but they have to use heavy barrels. And like a cool thing about like having a heavy barrel is like you have a heavy barrel, takes longer to heat up, it's more rigid. Will definitely have like a longer service life. Like um, a lot of the M4s went to like a heavier SOCOM barrel, but what
Mm-hmm.
LWRC does is they sit there and they mill it, this aggressive spiral cut all the way
So
down the
they
barrel.
fluted it.
Yeah, so they fluted it, and so like it basically has the weight of a normal profile government barrel, but it's the rigidity of a heavy barrel. So, and supposedly they're super accurate. So, excited about that. So I'm gonna go out there and shoot it here in a
So
bit.
so help me understand. You went and you bought a full, you bought a manufactured rifle.
Yep.
Um, and I know a lot of folks who do that. With your experience, there is certainly the option that you could have Frank and gunned one together and
Oh,
built it out of all your own proprietary parts. What caused you to want to go with a full assembled one that is very, I mean, it's very nice. I mean, everything you're describing is nice, like
yep.
full stop, period. But you made a decision to do that over building something that would be much more tailored to what you wanted, at maybe a different price point. Tell me how your thinking went on that.
Well, like for what you're getting in the rifle, like it's hard to do this for like $1,000. And so like I
Sure.
see that and I'm like, okay, like a deal. I had looked at doing upper receivers and then doing barrels. Like I have the upper receiver clamp and everything like that for a vise. I have the tools. I have an 80% lower jig. Like I've done that before.
Yeah.
Um, Looking at it and just going through it, it's just like, okay, like I have something from that's all put together. It's all fine, and like there's parts of this gun that I cannot do for the price that it's being put out to me. Um, for instance, the bolter, like the barrel. Like I was like, I kind of want like a heavier barrel. I think that would be kind of neat, but like, am I going to be able to get a heavier fluted barrel on the price point that I want to spend? Possibly not. Not going to be able to do that. And the other part too, it's like, um, the one thing about direct impingement AR-15s, um, everything's pretty normal that you can sit there and mess with. The hardest thing too that to do is like, what kind of rail are you going to put on, and what kind of barrel, and how is that barrel going to be attached to the upper receiver? And like
Right.
that's kind of, there's a million ways of go to go on that one. Like there's those, another full rifle would be like the ALG El Jefe or the Super Duty, and they can be heavy, and putting on the rails and stuff like that, that can be somewhat kind of difficult. I saw this, and once I started like, I saw the deal on that. It's like, all right, well, I'll research it, and then looking at it, I'm like, okay, it's like it essentially checks all the boxes. So it's like it has some really cool, interesting parts on it that would suit exactly what I want, but I'm not tied down to those parts.
Right.
And so that's
Well, the other thing that's nice is if you ever decide you want to sell it, it's a whole lot easier to sell a real gun than
it,
a
it
Franken gun.
it's easier to sell a real gun than a Franken gun. And the other part is too, it's like there's I know who to blame for something like this if stuff doesn't work out. And that's
Right, right, right.
that's kind of also the thing. And like honestly, it's basically $1,000 lower with $1,000 upper with like a free lower. And so like I'm I'm super down with that. So I mean, like a lower is a lower in an AR-15 and a quality upper. Like if you can find a quality upper that's basically, BCM, LWRC, Geissele or something like that at a good price, like you might as well just do it. And um, doing the research on the gun, like there's barrels that can fit into this upper receiver, and there's not barrels that won't fit in it, just the way because of how it's collared. But like
Hmm.
people who shot them and had them, like Focus Trip or whatever, it's just like this gun is absolutely phenomenal. And the one thing that was unanimous about everything I read about it was how accurate the barrel was. And that's kind of like my number one kind of feature now. Like guns I buy is like I do not want to mess with any sort of um, kind of inaccuracy. Like we used to have to do that with handguns. Like you get like a Gen 3 Glock and it's like it'll shoot this or whatever. Or you get like some AR-15 from Colt or something like that, and it's just like, all right, some of these are a little bit open more than others or whatever like that. And so like sometimes if you'd find that your AR-15 was you know more accurate than it should be, it'd be like, well, that's cool because um
How much of that, how much of that though do you think is just the fact that we've gotten so good at computerized machinery and all that sort of fun stuff that our ability to hold tighter tolerances has just caused like everybody, generally everybody across the board to naturally just come up
I, I
at a higher rate.
I think everybody, the milling or like the buttoning or the cold hammer forging or whatever like that, like that's not the big thing. I think what the thing comes out is like um, chrome lining and doing all those other things to the barrel. That kind of helps, and then
Yeah.
assembling them correctly. Like the one thing that kind of like I like this LWRC is like um, I can easily, without any sort of thing, remove this handguard and get at stuff if I need to get at stuff. Like that's pretty good. And like just having like the barrels, like cold hammer forged, chrome lined. I think they call it their Nicor. It's like a nitron treatment or a nitride treatment on it. Like it's like okay, like I know I have a really strong and good barrel for the money, and that's good because like I want to have something that I'm going to have for a long time, and I'm going to shoot because I buy like a decent rifle like every 10, 12 years. And so
Right.
that's kind of what I want. And if I have something for 10 or 12 years, it's a lot easier to kind of look at it and be able to use it and then have like I'm one manufacturer to blame for it if something goes wrong or if something goes right. And so that's kind of
What's
just
the
looking.
buy it once for life, you know?
Yeah, buy it once for life and buy something reputable. Like if I can find a deal on something reputable, like I'm much more willing to buy that because there's a lot of uh like I could have gotten almost any PSA kind of like what is their saber line, their nicer line of rifles. But
Right.
like the word on those is like sometimes kind of hit, sometimes kind of miss. And I've been following this one barrel channel. I think his name's Preston Moore, where he takes out like different types of barrels and installs them in receivers, and then goes fires three groups at them, and really gets into the autistic weeds about how accurate um, stuff is, and like so I look at that and I'm like, all right, well, there's like these barrels from other manufacturers that seem to be reputable and seem to be good, and then can have issues here or there. So I'm very like I'm just gonna get kind of so like this is a great price, this is a great barrel, this is a great gun, like, and so like I'll just run with that, and so like I'm happy about it. I'll load some more 5.56 in the coming year and go out there and shoot it. But like yeah, I'm quite happy. So I switched the charging handle and put a Geisley Maritime bolt catch on it. I tried putting a bad lever on it, and a bad lever doesn't fit because it has this like little tiny little shelf, and I like having all like a nice little lower that has like different little cuts or aesthetic things, and then like you try to put your parts on it, and you're just like, well, mother freaker, it doesn't work anymore. Never
Mm-hmm.
mind. So yeah, this I got a
Yeah.
couple more parts, and this needs an Arredondo magwell and um, Geisley airborne charging handle, and I'll be happy with it.
Yeah, if I mean for me, like the biggest thing that I need more than anything on our AR is just the ambidextrous safeties.
Yeah,
I mean I can make the standard ones work, but it is pretty nice just to have it work. And
yeah.
that's a left-hand problem. I like the bad levers. I know that some people have issues with them, but I think they're fantastic.
I think bad levers are fine if for people who understand what the front of the trigger guard is and can operate it kind of with a straight finger than people who
Yeah.
like just don't know what the hell's going on in there. I messed around with the complete ambi direct impingement lower,
Hmm.
and it has basically the same style bolt catch that's on the left side of the gun on the right side of the gun, and it just
Yeah.
it's really really busy, and I've never liked the ambi mag releases.
I haven't either. I've tried them, and um, honestly, I will take the performance hit that it is to basically do like an MP5 where my hand comes back and I hit it with my thumb and I strip the mag out
Yeah.
because that works all the time, every time, and I never ever have an issue with it. And I'm sure there's other things out there. I don't shoot rifles enough. I mean, if you go out and shoot this week, you will literally have shot more um, rifle rounds than I have in the entire year.
Yeah, well, I don't I like practicing with the rifle, but I do not like every once in a while when I go out and I shoot with the rifle. Like I don't understand like the recoil pattern that's happening to me, where it's just like,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, okay, so all right, less input into the gun, and this should straighten out. Like I listen to enough stuff, and I've shot enough that I can kind of go like, oh, go back to kind of how to do this or that, and but yeah, I would like to, and there's always something comforting about having an AR-15 that's like perfectly zeroed and runs and everything else, and that's like light enough because that's the one thing. It's like I brought this home and Paige was looking at it, Mike was over, and so Mike was screwing around with it, and it's like, well, I'll go get the other one, and I go grab the other one, and then everyone's just like, oh my gosh, like it's so front heavy, and for me, like the 516 was never like abusively heavy, like
Hmm.
it's heavier, but like to them, like
No, but
when you
you
see
carry it
them,
after a long while. You're like, oh, this is noticeable.
yeah, when you see them leaning back to hold it up, especially when you put the can on the other end, it's just like okay,
Hmm.
like and now handle this. Like yes, this is much lighter, so
Yeah.
it'll be fun. It'll be a
Well,
good time.
I don't really have the accuracy, time, and patience. So instead, what I did is I just took my MP5 and I put a super safe on it, and I figure accuracy by tremendous amounts of volume. it will more than compensate for the one shot, one hit
So
rat.
uh, uh, on the super, like, so let's hold up the MP5 here with the super safety. So YouTube, Paracast, firearms training. So the okay. So is it just
Yeah.
2 positions or is it 3 positions?
Nah, it's a 3 position. So when you this is pro level right. This is pro level right here. So all the way is safety. Then all the other way is fire.
Yeah.
Then right in the middle, that one is where the FRT comes into play, and it will. So it takes a little bit more pressure to trip the trigger, but as soon as it racks through, you can actually feel it putting pressure on that trigger and driving and pushing your finger forward.
Uh huh.
And with continuous pressure, it just goes,
So essentially,
and it goes real well.
you leave your finger in one spot, and then the trigger force resets into your finger, setting it off.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the weight of your finger already pulling back on is just going to keep it going. And you can stop if you press too hard. It'll actually you can retard it to the
Yeah.
point where it won't go, but then you just have to pull the trigger again. But I mean, like I've shot like the Armory had, and actually they have MP5s that were full auto, and I've shot them, and they're a ton of fun. MP5 is arguably the best sub gun to shoot out there. I think it's just fantastic. Uh, the super safe version of this thing, it it feels exactly it feels and shoots exactly like a full auto MP5,
Yeah.
and it's tremendously fun. And I spent a ridiculously large amount of 9mm Thursday night shooting it because it's so damn controllable and it's fun. And I'm like, I may show up at one of our indoor matches and I may shoot it.
Yeah.
And it will not be a USPSA sanctioned match, but by gosh, we're gonna try it out because it's gonna be fun.
Did you run it with the suppressor?
Oh yeah, it's the tits.
Yeah.
It's amazing because it's like super quiet. Even my 115s, they're only running about 1130 out of my pistol. So you need to get to about 1150 for it to hit full auto or what do you call it, supersonic.
Yeah.
And so they're super quiet. I had a bunch of 124s and they're great. I mean, it's just you take the ear pro off and it just chug-a-lugs all the way through it, and
Yeah.
you put on it. It's dude, it's the best. You got to come up and we'll go shoot it. And I know there's everybody, and I generally agree with you. Everybody's like full auto stupid. There's no point in it. And you shoot a magazine and then you're like, cool, that was fun. We don't need to do it anymore. Bullshit.
Full.
When it's the MP5, you want to keep doing it because it's way fun,
I
and the ammo's cheap.
Besides the belt-fed machine guns, like full automatic, like assault rifles or whatever, like and the like I don't. It's not something that gets to me or whatever. Like or like machine pistols, like where people are talking like, oh, we're gonna put FRTs in the TX22 or something like that, like Taurus, and like it's a little buzz on. I'm like, like that doesn't appeal to me. But like when you have like a super controlled 9mm, essentially like that full auto thing is that's what turns it into kind of like that, um, gives it like what for lack of a better term, like the stopping power, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because when you have a 9mm subgun, you shoot in semi-automatic, it's like, okay, like I can shoot this maybe a little faster, not too much, and like it's effectively a handgun.
Well, the
But
thing you have to think about is like the AR-15 and the TX-22 and all these other guns that you can put an FRT into. Those are guns that were meant to be semi-auto.
yeah,
And but the MP5 is a full auto gun. It was meant to run fast. And it was built to be very effective at running fast and putting rounds very accurately into functionally the same A zone at a high rate of speed.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so it just makes sense. And so when you shoot the gun, it's not like you're like retrofitting something to make it work. You're actually shooting a gun that was built with the idea of bullets are coming out of this thing at a high rate of speed.
yeah.
And it's thick.
Yeah, that's what it's meant to do. And so like the whole class of like submachine guns is like no, like a controllable, fully automatic 9mm submachine gun. Like that's what it's made to do. That's what actually makes it effective. The whole like PCC concept is like we're shooting less effective things out of a small package because it looks like submachine guns.
Yeah,
So
but you should come out. You should come out. It'll be tons of fun. At the beginning of the year, when that ATF, what was it, the law, when that law goes into effect and the tax stamps
yeah,
aren't really you don't have to pay for them anymore. Like right now, I've got it's the frick. What is this thing called? It's the Octane 45, which is my 45 cal suppressor, and that's sitting on the end of it. But I've got an Omega 9K, and that's pretty much that's going to be the permanent home of that suppressor because I think it's a fantastic suppressor. The 45 it's great. It's quiet as all can be, but the 9K is a whole lot shorter, and I think it just makes the MP5 package just so much more fun.
yeah,
God dang, Tommy, I had so much fun with it. I mean, I took it because I was sitting last weekend and I'm listening to General Conference all weekend long, and I had nothing to do, so I'm like, I'm gonna finally put this thing together. I put it together, and I'm like, yeah, I think I cycling it through. I did all the little tests on it, everything you could do without actually taking it in the backyard and firing a couple rounds to make sure because I
yeah,
really wanted to. But and so it was I just sat on it, and Thursday night I finally took it out there and I put 3 rounds in the magazine because one of them was to make sure that it would fire in semi, and then I was like two because two's safe, right? I mean,
yeah,
you fire 2 rounds and it's that's a good place to be. Fires 2 rounds and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like start stuffing five, six, seven,
yeah,
eight, nine, like brat, brat, ah,
yeah. No,
like
that's
oh,
and
so much fun.
yeah, and unlike other things, like you don't really have to worry too much about it running. So like they run, and like you've had really good luck with your AP5. I've had great luck with my AP5, my MP5K kind of clone that
Hmm.
I SBR'd, and so like yeah, it's 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 a really good time, and I'm happy like that kind of work. The safety, the kind of push through safety is a little bit weird, not having a
They're
lever, but
Yeah, they're working on well that's the nice thing is it's not um it's very when it's on safe, it's on safe. When it's fire in single action, it's fire in single action. And you have to deliberately put it into that middle position.
yeah,
And it's a little bit soft because that's how the super safety works and the camming action and everything like that. But it's going to be in that position.
yeah,
Um, they are working on the safety levers, right? It's
yeah,
like this, they're working on that, and somebody's going to come out with one pretty soon. But I had this super safety sitting around since forever, and so I was just like, when I found out Lee Sporting had their AR-15 lowers, and you could just drop them in and get a slip trip, all that fun stuff. I bought everything, and my buddy Cody, he's like, we'll build these things together, and I'm like, what a great idea. And then he built his, and I just sat on it for months, and
yeah.
but God dang,
Well,
man.
now you
You
have it.
you gotta come up. You gotta come up, dude. It
I'll
is so it's so much fun.
I'll give it a shot. That like yeah, that'll
Yes.
be fun. Okay. Anything else happen with you this week?
Yeah. So we had our new shooter match, and it was interesting. Roy Norman, he was the match director for it, and I think and he did a great job. He did an absolute great job. But it was the strangest thing because I've run that match since like I don't know, it was like 2016 or something like that. And I am so used to doing the new shooter match, but Rory did it. And he started out and he did a great job. But he's going through and doing this thing. And in the back of my head, I'm like in the back and I'm listening and I'm like, he's not telling my jokes. He's not doing it the way I do it. And eventually I actually had to like leave the range. I had to go into the other room because he was doing nothing wrong. He did everything correct.
Yeah, you just have
But
to
I
let the kids.
was,
You just have to let the kids do it. That's it. You just have to.
that's it.
You just have to let them do what you told them how to do.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I did not for the life of me think that it would affect me in the way that it did. But I mean, I say
You,
fully, he did a great job. But it was like
you just march.
emotionally, I'm like,
You just march up. All right. Well, that's you're just not ready yet, Rory. You're just not ready yet.
but that's the funny thing though, right? Because that's what we have to do. Like if we actually want our sport or we want our the if we want to be a match director, we want our club, we want any, if we want this stuff to survive, like we have to be training the people to replace us. Because if we're not doing it, then fundamentally everything that we've worked to build is going to die with us. And that's going on in the back of my head while I'm like having this weird emotional reaction of like, he's not doing it right.
Yeah, well, eventually, sometimes you won't even have to show up. That's
Yeah.
that's the next step. Is you don't show up, and then all of a sudden it still goes perfectly well, and then you're like,
That's when you know you did something good. And that's
yeah,
funny enough. That's actually what we're trying to do. Is so we're gonna actually expand, and we're gonna have a few more matches during the month. So starting with definitely 3, and then as it works out, we'll try and do 4. But I can't do it. I mean, I can do the 2
yeah,
matches, and
that's a
that's just
lot.
fine. And it's just too much to try and do. And so Rory's like, I'd be happy to do one of them. Steven Scolari's like, I would do one of them. And so we're working through this process of building up match directors to take over and to handle the thing when we're not there. And that's going to involve making sure that the timers and the pads, all stuff like that, things that are all important that
Yeah,
you never see, but that's all got to go somewhere. But in the process, you also have to be willing to hand the reins off to somebody and say, I'll be here. I'll be watching over you, but I'm gonna let you do it.
that's how I am with dinner. That's how bad it is. Like, did you salt it? Did you put the olive oil on? Did you put the coconut oil on? What did you do? What did you do?
Yeah.
Tell me what you did. No, that's awesome. That's super awesome.
It was so much fun.
Well, if you have a FRT or a LWRC rifle, probably going to need some weird magazine pouches. They can't really help you with that, but you can hang those pouches on a Dominate Defense belt. Check out Dominate Defense and American Operator Gear. Fantastic belts, Mach 1 speed belts, duty belts, concealment belts, everything you possibly need. It's the belts I wear every day for any occasion, except for church, but I wish I could. Check them out. Use promo code PARA10, save 10% off your order. Yeah, it literally is. They're the best belts in the industry. Also, check out Rune Tactical. Get a +1 in the gun. More fun with other firearms accessories and springs that you can have, replacement springs for your guides. Sorry, for your what are they? What are
Magazines,
followers and
followers.
magazine tube things that go in the tube to make your gun carry more. Anyway, it's a bad
It's the
commercial.
shoulder thing that goes up.
It's the shoulder thing. It's the barrel shroud. Use promo code PARA10 and save 10%. Also, check out Kevin Isaac's W74 guide rods, where you can get guide rods, tungsten batteries to fit all your weight gaining needs and your balancing, because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to balancing later. You're just balancing that gun. You can use the same promo code PARA10, save 10% off your order. Telegram, check it out. Yeah, it's a messaging app. It's encrypted. You can do all sorts of weird and devious things on it. But what you can also do is join the PARAcast chat and chat with us and ask us questions like these people did today.
From my very good friend, the humble marksman. How do you feel about using more do not cross lines to force more IPSC style stages? Area 4 used a very intelligent match design to basically create an IPSC match this weekend. I only shortcutted on 2 of the 16 stages. Do you want
I've
me to? I had to ask.
I've
I had to
shot
ask him
a
what this
couple.
meant.
I've shot a couple IPSC matches in my life, and the notion of staying within the stage boundaries that are laid out for the good and the bad. It doesn't give you like different options for shooting positions, like when you put like different boxes outside or different shooting areas that people run around to get to. I mean, I guess you could add some sort of, you would have to do more setup work for it, or like do not cross boundaries or something like that. Like I I think you could implement it, and it would make for some interesting stage. Well, not interesting stages. It'd make for stages that you wanted people to shoot a certain way. That's what it would really do. It would constrain the shooter a little bit, but
Here, here's the thing. So I mean, there's rules that you can put in place that basically put barricades up and say that like competitors are not allowed to go into this area, and if you do, we'll give you this big massive penalty, and you can do that. but functionally, what you're admitting at that point is that you're a really shitty stage designer, and you couldn't figure out how to compel them to do the thing you wanted without coming in the back end. And I shouldn't say you're a shitty stage designer. I just think I think when you put up that kind of thing after the fact, and then say, "Hey, we're now an IPSC style match because we are putting these like rules in place to force you to do these things." Instead, build a good stage. Build a stage that it guides and directs the shooter in the way that you want them to go. And then we don't even have that. And it kills me in a lot of ways because you have this mentality, and I'm genuinely curious if this is just an American thing, because like so many people in America are like, we need to build more IPSC style stages, as if IPSC is some god that we must all like sacrifice the cow unto or something like that. And I kind of wonder if people over in like the rest of the world are sitting there like, you know what? I really wish we had more USPSA style stages because look, they can run around, they can do all the fun things, they can shoot high rounds. That seems like a lot of fun. And we're just playing this game of the grass is always greener on one side or the other. But at the end of the day, if you want shooters to do something, build that into your stage. Don't come in after the fact and put up like caution tape saying thou shalt not cross, because that's just you being a bad stage designer.
The thing I like about having like something like a do not cross line or IPSC style lines is that effectively you make people shoot the stage the same way, just like you would kind of have people shoot the same way in like Steel Challenge. So if you really wanted to like have a match where it really came down to people following very closely to the same order and it came down pretty much to the shooting and not so much on the movement or the stage plan, like I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that's I don't mind that. That seems kind of neat in a way. Like it's kind of like almost like race car driving. It's like we're all on the same course. We're all doing the same thing, and besides the traffic, it's pretty similar. Like there's not a different way of you to
Right.
prosecute the course. So like I can understand it for certain matches and stuff like that. I I think it's better as a add-on tool for certain stages and then not as a general practice, but I do not like the idea of mix and mingling those rules for having him for some stages and not having from other stages. And as far as a whole match for that, I unless you really want to just if you want a match like that, then just start everybody at the same positions and make it so that people are basically going to use the same stage plan no matter what.
Yeah, fundamentally, those do not cross kind of lines. Those things exist for safety issues,
Yeah.
safety of the RO or safety of the competitors, things like that. And if you're using those rules as a cop out to bad stage design,
Yeah, that's let
I just disagree with that. I think that's just a bad thing. You
that's the
can build a stage to force people to do something. You can do
and
that.
you can build a stage to keep people from doing certain things as well. It's like
Yeah.
walls and barrels like it might be something for newer clubs that do not have the equipment to sit there and put on like maybe do not have four barrels to like all right, well we got to block this target or prevent someone from going over here or something like that. Like okay, maybe you can do that. But for like, clubs that have been around and have allocated their resources correctly, you should be able to not have a line that says do not cross.
Right. Right. From Sebastian Munoz, what's the best division to shoot after returning from a 4-month hiatus? Ideally, a division to hide your lack of practice and deteriorating skills.
L10.
PCC, baby.
PCC, I think the Dirk Hopkins rule just limits PCC to the injured. So maybe if you're still saying you're emotionally injured, you could do that. But
I
um,
don't know. Seabass turned into one of those like triathlon guy. What is the? He's like an Iron Man now, where he's like running and biking and shooting, or I don't know. That all that really cool stuff.
yeah, I go to the gym every morning and lift weights, and I've been doing that for like 4 months. And when I'm there, I wish I was shooting because it's not like the greatest thing ever, you know. the funny thing is like I'm up here and I'm up here in American Fork or whatever. But when I take my son to school, when I have him, he's way down south in Spanish Fork. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll save some time. I'll go to like the Spanish Fork, Vasa, and I go there, and like it's so nice because not everyone's rich enough to be injecting themselves with steroids and getting plastic surgery. Because like I go down to Spanish Fork and it's just like, you know what? Like I feel like I'm like farther along in my fitness journey because there's not somebody who's like 220 pounds, just absolutely jacked, and you can tell that they're on steroids. And there's not like a bunch of plastic surgery. It just seems like normal people going to the gym. And so I like when I go there. It's cleaner, it's newer, the plates seem lighter, the people seem slightly like uglier. I don't have like this, these guys coming down from Alpine from their $7 million house with their third boob job hanging out in front of me using a machine. So, anyways,
From from Ron, shotguns for fun. Benelli M4, Beretta 1301 Comp Pro, or something else, and why? Well, you said shotguns for fun. Shotguns aren't fun, so there that's it. There's no answer to that, Ron. Sorry.
shotguns are like if you're gonna have like a competition or whatever. Like I think the Beretta 1301 is too good because it's like the obvious choice. And you can't use the obvious choice for fun. So like you can get like a Benelli M4 and like that's 2 grand and like it's a really good shotgun. Um and so but it has like this kind of like cool 2000 to like 2015 kind of like this is the most premier shotgun on the planet. I would love to use this. I still much think of like shotguns for fun as getting like a 590 or an 870 and having a nice one of those. Like that's pretty fun to have. But the thing that's kind of cool about shotguns is when you get a shotgun for fun and then like you start shooting things with it, you're just like, gosh dang, this thing is so much more powerful than anything else I have. And then you're just like, you know what? It's like I was at Sportsman's when I was messing around with the guys. Like they had a Mossberg 590, and it was just a 590 bead sight. So the Mossbergs they're all tapped for rails and stuff later, so you can
Right.
put one of those on. But it was a Mossberg 590 bead sight. And my very first gun I ever bought was a Mossberg 590. It was the Marine Corps model with the bead sight and the heat shield.
Yes.
The 9 shot. This was the 7 shot. So this was the 18-inch barrel, not the 20-inch barrel. And I was just handling that, and I was just like, you know what? Like this thing delivers way more firepower, like energy on target. It's not gonna like it's gonna be loud indoors, but it's not gonna be rifle loud indoors. And I was just sitting there thinking about like having like a Vang Comp 590. It'd be like that would be pretty sweet. Like that would be a kind of a cool little gun. And that let's face the facts is that we do not have as much shotgun stuff as we would like because the ammunition we can't load it, so we don't want to get into shotgun loading, and so we don't want to spend the money on it too, and we also don't want to get beat up by shooting a ton of shotgun a bunch. But like shotguns are really really cool. They're still around, and every time, every this is my favorite thing about shotguns. Every time the war changes to get away from shotguns, war has changed. War has changed. We don't need shotguns anymore. And then as soon as they get into the battle, you know what they realize? Like, gosh damn, you know what would really be good? An effing
A
shotgun.
shotgun.
Yeah. Oh, we got to clear buildings. You know what's nice up front? A semi-automatic shotgun. We don't need shotguns anymore. We're not doing this. We have the Spear LT or whatever, or like the Spear H, or we have a 277 Fury. We have a scope that does everything. It's just like we're gonna get murked by drones flying into us. You know what's really good for shooting down things that fly through the air? What, Jim? A shotgun.
Shotgun.
And so the shotgun comes back. So
All I know is all the people who like the TTI and the Benelli, those guys now have readers. So, I mean, they're all
yeah,
old and
get
they're all gone.
get
I would like the 590. I'll be honest with you. Like one of the very first shotguns I ever saw when I was first getting into it was a 590, and it was the Marine version. And I still, I will probably someday get one. I mean,
Yeah.
and I will probably shoot it like maybe 100 rounds or something like that because I just don't shoot shotguns. Three gun absolutely ruined shotguns. 100% it ruined shotguns. But the the 590 is just cool. It's just a
Yeah.
cool gun, and I've always loved it.
I just want a 590. I want to bevel the tube, not the tube, but like where you put in the shells, whatever,
Yeah.
the loading port. Like I want a beveled loading port so I don't slice my thumb open. I just a little bit smooth action. Like you get like one of the nice Vane Comp 590s for like $1,100, and like that sounds like a lot for a shotgun, but not in the neighborhood of where like a 1301's costing
Benelli
you 15
M4.
or
Yeah.
$2,000. Like give me a nice pump action shotgun. Let me throw things in it and like I don't know. I think we all got kind of wrapped around the thing about having these red dot sights now and ghost rings and all that jazz on shotguns is like how intuitive a bead sight is for messing things up. It's fantastic. Like bead sights at shooting things that are moving quick. It's amazing. It's just like you
Hmm.
sit there and you forget how smart everyone else was when they had like these vent rib posts on the top of the barrels that led to like a fiber or a bead for bird hunting and shooting things on the move. You're just like, gosh damn, that really is great. That is fantastic. Let's use that.
From Rory, carry optic and limited optic visions are so similar now that people are often just shooting both by swapping a magwell on and off. Is it worth combining them, or perhaps making carry optics realign with production and limiting the mag capacity to 15? All right, I said it in the chat and I'll say it on here. Production 15 is as gay as production optics. It's stupid. It should never have been a thing. I don't know why people do it. And let's stop playing with this idea of 15 rounds in a production gun. It was dumb when somebody thought of it, and it's dumb now. Nothing has changed other than the dumbness has increased. Production should stay at 10. Carry optics and limited optics, honestly, limited optics should never have been created, ever. It should never have been created. It was a stupid division that didn't do anything of functional value or uniqueness. But now that it's here, there's no
I
reason there's no reason not to combine them.
I think limited 10. I think if you're going to make the change to any of them, you'd make the change to CO. Obviously, production should be 10. Production 15 round is great because if you shoot production 15 round, you get to kind of compare your scores a little bit better. But that's not like I'm shooting production um, because I want to. It's like I'm shooting production 15 because like it makes the gap between that and CO or LO a little bit smaller. So like I can be in a division of two and then like practice score my what if into like something else and see where I stand. So that's the only
The problem I understand what you're saying, and I get it. I really do. But the problem is going from 10 to 15, the only thing it did was change the number for the people who are already inside that
it made
world.
people buy less magazines.
But at the
That's
end of the
what it did.
day, but at the end of the day, it's not like people suddenly said, "Hey, you know what? I can put 15 rounds in this thing. I'm going to go shoot production now." You know what? Production is really an exciting division. No.
It's already dead.
The same people that were shooting it are the same people, and for some reason they got this dumb idea in their head that adding 15 rounds because herpa derpa derp, we got to be like IPSC.
Yeah,
No, it was stupid.
it was not very good. It is easier to shoot. It is an easier division to shoot to compare yourself with people in CO or LO.
But it
LO,
took
I think
the pizzazz out of production. It took the really coolness out of that. Only had 10 rounds. You had to
technology
think. You had to be yeah. You had to be
technology
technically more correct.
like you had to be a technically good shooter. It was
Yeah.
really fun, but technology killed it, and like that's just the way it is. And LO, like, I'll, I'm not like a super fan of LO, and I understand like everyone says there's not many differences between the guns we shoot, so why not have them all in the division? It's just like, well, duh. It's just like, well,
Yeah.
these cars, like cars have a greater thing because like you have bigger engines and bigger displacement and all that. We don't really have that in like our differences like slide ride optics versus a frame mounted optic and then sighting systems because we've kind of given up on the whole idea of major minor power factor because everything's basically minor heavy now And
Mm-hmm.
so the one thing I'll say about LO is it sure did bring a shitload of people in here with 2011s. That's the one thing. It's like when people start showing up, you go like, all right, 2011, go here. 2011, go here. And everyone wants a 2011, and every manufacturer is coming out with a 2011. Sig, Kimber, everyone else that you wouldn't think would be producing one is producing one. So it's like, okay, it gives them a place to go. I think there should be. I don't. There needs to be some sort of capacity change with either CO or LO. And you know what? For the love of it, let's make it LO. Like, why should CO have to go down to this?
Yeah,
Like,
we were here
we
first.
don't have a magwell. You got a magwell, bitch. Like, you load 10. Like, let's make you guys 15, and then you guys can load your gun up because, like, why not? Like, you guys go do that. I think, yeah, there's not much of a difference, but there's not much of a difference in a lot of the divisions.
And that to me always comes back to the point that I have is like if you're going to create a division, there needs to be something unique about it. I mean, it needs to fill a gap that is not being filled already. And LO did none of that. The only thing
It
LO
filled in a
did,
gap for 9 millimeter 1911 double stack designs. That's what it did. Like, if anything, all LO did was like USPA.
so we created a division for one teeny tiny subset of an industry, and it's like, well,
I don't think
did
it's a
that
teeny tiny.
industry was that? I don't know, Tommy,
It's not
because
a
it's like
teeny tiny. It's not a teeny tiny, part of the industry. This is the main gun that is being sold for recreational pistol use are 2011s. Like
I don't disagree with that, but is that because USPSA created limited optics, or is it because all of these 2011 builders were building 40 Smith and Wesson, and 40 Smith and Wesson went tits up, and so they got to like do it somehow, and
no,
so they just converted over to a 9
it
millimeter.
had nothing to do with that. It had to do with good marketing from Staccato. When people start seeing like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when good marketing from Staccato goes out and people are like, oh, this is where it is. Like when like literally, I'm dating Paige and her coworker says, what do you think about staccatos? And it's just like, I think
That's a great point.
I think for if you get down the line, you really get. But the guy had already bought it as his first gun because he went into the gun store and they said, well, what's the best? And the people behind the counter said, "Oh, you get a staccato. If you want the best, if you watch John Wick, there's some sort of 2011 or whatever." So like USPA sees this gigantic market of every single manufacturer all of a sudden trying to produce a 9 millimeter double stack 2011 design, and then like USPSA doesn't have a home for those, and so like all of a sudden we got all these people showing up. Like how many people we just decided to get that would be like they would go shoot the tactical games or something like that, showing up to shoot
Hmm.
USPSA. It's like good, happy they're here, happy they're spending a bunch of money on whatever guns. So like I understand why USPSA did it, and it's like it's good. Um, and I think when USPA saw that they didn't want to they don't want to handicap that division with limited um, magazine capacity or less gear on it because like those are the kind of people that like they don't want to change their gun. They want more stuff for their gun than less stuff, and so it's it's a good division. I see why it's there. Obviously, it's very popular. Everyone basically bought an LO gun or converted a gun to shoot that. So cool. But yeah, there's not a
I
lot of
think
difference.
the thing that they need to do to be definitive is make the nationals everybody wants to see, which is CO and LO,
Yeah.
and then see what the overall is there, because you're going to find that that I contend that these guns are virtually identical at this point. The triggers on them are all great. The my Shadow 2s after you pull through that first double action, it's a 2011 at that point. Although not my current one that I'm
All,
running, but
all all of them are. I just watched Dave's Humble Marksman do a video on the aluminum SIG P226 single action. Like all of a sudden they make an X5 and now they make it in an X5 Legion aluminum frame. So like
right.
it's lighter and so like And then they're trying to get into those divisions, those single action divisions, so much that they have their 20, what is it, their whatever their 2011 P211 or whatever
Yeah.
gun is, plus their X5 competition, their single action gun. And then like everybody else, if they do not have a 2011, they have something that's similar enough to a 2011 that like you could squeeze it in there, like Beretta's 92X Performance. They all have something that's like the DWX. It's just like single action only shadow twos.
Hmm.
Like
No, and
honest.
I agree with you. I know that that's. I mean, I know that's the world. I get that, but I'm saying at this point, there's no functional difference between them,
No, there's
and
not.
I just I mean, so at this point, just combine the two divisions. Get away from the idea that the carry optic it has to be one of the production gun list. Get away from that list. Throw the list out because that's kind of one of the big things that's still existing. And then just say we're just gonna call it limited optics. Carry optics died when they went away from, they had the weight limit and putting all the shit on the guns and things like that, and that's gone. That ship has sailed. It's never ever coming back. And so the idea of like, hey, let's go and turn carry optics into some watered down division. It's a stupid idea. Nobody outside of people who just want to go and do something uniquely different is going to go to that division unless they're hiding or they just
They
want a
will they
different
will only
challenge.
shoot that division if they do not have a 2011 or something single action. That's Carry optics was the place that everyone went. Now it's the catch all for people who don't have single action pistols.
But that's the thing. I see. I mean, go. I mean, that'll be the interesting bit. I mean, I'll be. I'm actually going down to nationals. I'm just going to take pictures. Um, but I'll be really interested to see all the people signed up in LO that are not shooting 2011. I bet you there's a ton of them.
Yeah, and I think what you're gonna find is they're higher end steel, like metal framed pistols with magwells. You'll see the Walthers, you'll see
I
the DWX, you'll see.
I know a couple of them that are actually shooting M&Ps and they just slapped a magwell on them.
Yeah,
And Tyler's he's a damn good shooter.
yeah, but these are gonna be like, they'll be the M&P with the magwell, but it's not going to be the vast majority. Or they'll be like one of like the steel frame or the metal frame M&Ps being brought over to like that. Like there's
Yeah.
definitely a thing with the LO kind of crowd, which is like, if I'm gonna have a purpose built competition gun, and there's not going to be a whole lot of like the Glocks or whatever, or the Springfield Echelon or something like that being thrown in a magwell and then moved over. Like that's the one
Well,
thing that,
the only person that's actually shooting an echelon at this point is Julie Golub.
yeah, it's actually it's a good pistol. It's a good pistol. I handled one some more and I was like, this is not bad. It's not bad.
It's not
So
an XD. I mean,
it's definitely not an XD, but man, like the XDs are freaking cheap. You can get one with a dot for 275.
the dirty secret about the XDs, honestly, is they were very accurate guns. They were very, very good guns, but that grip safety when it failed, because it eventually would for a lot of
Yep.
folks, it rendered the gun completely inoperable to the point like you had a live round stuck in that chamber you
Yeah.
could not extract.
But let's remind everybody about the XD. The XD came out. It was accurate until it broke. It was very reliable, and it was safe as hell. We had XDs break with bullets in the chamber. You know what happened to those? You put it in a box and you shipped it back to Springfield Armory and they got it out. That's what
Hmm.
happened. Like, they were safe and effective firearms. And like, that's hard to do nowadays, like not just with like you hear about SIG
Well, for
stuff,
SIG,
but like other companies are just like, I don't know if like whatever gun would do this or not do this, or the quality control or whatever. Like, and the XDs eventually got better and better. And the Echelon's a well-made handgun, and it's interesting to see Springfield's relationship with HS Products, who produces the Hellion and the Hellcat and the Echelon, because like now there's actual HSP logoing on their gun. It doesn't just say Springfield; it says HS products or whatever on it. So
Interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, so like they're becoming a kind of a bigger deal, and obviously for Springfield Armory's lineup, like it's a big deal for them to have that. But yeah, purpose built guns in LO. It's bougie CO. That's all it is. And all I
Yeah.
want is my LO gun. If I ever shot LO gun, I'm gonna go get a I'll get a Terran mag. I won't even get a magwell. I'll get a slug plug, and I'll buy a Glock 17L. A slug plug, a 17L with grip tape, maybe an Apex trigger if I don't polish it, and then I'll put a Vortex Defender XL on the top. Ta-da! Welcome to LO. My 6-inch barreled blaster.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go get in the safe and get another one of the shadows
Yeah.
and probably just shoot that because yeah, it works. Let's see. Should USPSA keep stats on match history to recommend squad balancing for majors? Kept running up on a squad half filled with first major guys who were terrible on the reset. Now, MDs are doing this at locals just based on knowing everybody, but would a formalized system make the product more enjoyable?
I mean, you wouldn't be able to sit there and go with your friends. Like, they would probably break up squads or like that. But honestly, that kind of like for everyone's match, it might actually make everybody better if they're in a squad where they don't know anybody. And then they go out there and do it. Like, it could be enjoyable. But as far as match flow, mm, I don't think it'd be. I don't think it'd be worth it.
I don't think it's worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to these majors with their entertainment dollars, and often as not, they're going with their friends. And if you spent all that money to go to the major, stay in the Airbnb, carpool together, and then suddenly you show up in the match, and the match director's like, yeah, you guys look new, so fuck off. You're going to some other squad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that's not cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not cool by any metric.
This
And
this is this is literally like a vacation hobby.
oh, 100%.
That's all this is, and it's just like USPSA is like what would you say? It's like multi-level marketing. It's like you have a hope or a dream that possibly one day you're going to be successful at it, but you're actually not, but you keep pouring a bunch of money in it. And then you go
And
to
then you
like
get three of your best friends,
then you get three of
and
your
they
best
pour
friends.
money into it.
And like nationals is just like the convention where you go there to drink the Kool-Aid and get hyped up and hear about talks and be like, "Oh man, these people are successful. I saw this one guy shoot this gun. I handle it. I think it's the gun for me. I should go back there." Like, let's not pretend like
That's Infinity's entire marketing plan.
yeah, this isn't some place where you go there and just like, man, we really need to keep the match flow going because this is important. This is a competition. This is a serious event. It's like, this isn't serious. This isn't serious. Like, there's people that you could go to at work and say, name the last 10 teams that won the NBA finals. And then I swear to goodness, like, you can't even remember the last 10 people who won, like, CO nationals or production nationals. Like, you can't even do that. So, like, it's not serious.
Right. No, it's the truth. Honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, like it's an interesting question, and I kind of get where it's coming from, but instead of like this being handled on the major level, what this really speaks to more than anything is the locals need to establish the culture of how you are to act when you're shooting a match, so that when you go to a major, it just becomes an expectation.
Yeah.
You should. I mean, like whenever I go to when if I go to a major match, um, like Area 3, for example, um, I'm taking pictures, but as soon as the range is clear, I'm I've got my pacer gun there. I'm running around and I'm trying to be as helpful as possible. I try and be friendly because the last thing I ever want is for somebody to say, "Oh, that guy's an asshole. He didn't do anything,"
Yeah.
because like that makes me feel shame. And I want people to like if they only have this one interaction with me at a match something like that, I want them to walk away and be like, you know what? he was happy. He had a fun time. He helped everybody. It was a good resetting job, and that's all you can ever ask for in a squad mate. I mean, people honestly, we always tell people this, but people will never remember how you competed. I mean, maybe you're Eric or Fell, right? But generally, they're not going to remember how you competed. They're absolutely going to remember if you turn around and point the gun at them, and if you're a terrible resetter, and then they'll
Yeah.
never forget you
Yeah.
ever.
Or if they have a bunch of targets pulled down and make the match go on 50, like, okay, for every new shooter squad that slows down the stage, I will have that 1 million times over the asshole who literally tries to get targets pulled to count for shots that he missed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's way
Mm-hmm.
worse. And for people who complain and talk and then don't help reset when it's like they're only their 157th match, like, the other people can be moved along and gotten to do things. And like old people, like sometimes they're like new and they're old. It's like that's just the game. That just happens. What do
Yeah.
you do?
I mean, you figure the average age of USPSA. I was talking to Brian Conley. He said it was 48 now.
Yeah,
48.
I'm
I mean, it
bringing the
used to be
average down.
56.
I'm bringing the average down still. Still on
I
the lower
appreciate you.
end.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we got for today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. Remember, you can't afford to buy a new gun to go into LO, so don't even put on a magwell. You can't even afford that. So just get your stuff, go in there, shoot it if you want, shoot CO. Heck, sign up for 2 different matches, do them back to back. It doesn't matter. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And the only divisions that need to be axed is L10, and I'll just say it right now: open. We have no use. We have no use for open anymore.
Yeah, get rid of Major. I mean, Major's dumb.
Major's
We
dumb.
just
I,
get rid of
I,
that.
I think
Think of it like this: like if we get rid of Major, I will be doing Open a huge service because then all of the 38 super shooters, they'll actually be helping to paste and reset instead of looking for their 38 super cases on the ground.
yeah.
And everybody, we're thinking of you. We're thinking of you.
If we just got rid of, I know people have all this money invested in guns. Believe me, they don't want to get rid of those kind of guns. But like, we look at the freaking safe. You have like 20 guns. You do not shoot anymore. That are completely antiquated, outdated. You don't use them. They might as well be a freaking Colt Dragoon. Like, you don't know what you're doing. It's like, this is cap ball. Where's my powder flask? And so, like, let's just get rid of that. And then here's what will happen if we got rid of major for open. All these LO people would be like, it's now minor. I need a raced out staccato or whatever like that with the frame mounted optic. It'll be fantastic. Like, they'll just kind of migrate over there, and then we get rid of that division too. Anyway, thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. For Robert Wyatt, I'm Tom Nelson. May you peace, love, and soul as we depart into the open waters of the sea of life on a little tugboat we like to call the PARAcast.
Good night, everybody.